Yes? Oh yeah, baby, I love it. What do you love? They lost 7-3. Now you're not using your brain, man. This is chess, not checkers. What are you talking about? Okay, so the Leafs always choke at the end of series, right? Yeah. They're getting it out of the way early, man. Leafs in 5. Let's go! Give me what I want! Kick down the door! Drew, you are not doing this! What? Not nice! There's a giant head! You hear yourself? I made like 2,000 of these. I'd like to have fun. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Playoff hockey! It's the best time of the year, and here we go again! Leafs lose 7-3 at the hands of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let me... You know I gotta do it! Let me get it! Think you know which way it's gonna go? LOL! Head on over to Sports Interaction. When the puck drops, it dropped at 7:30 tonight, by the way. 7:30. It would have been great if everyone noted that it was at 7:30! When the puck drops, Sports Interaction has you covered pregame, live betting on all major sports, and prop bets. Here's one that you should try for next game. How many things are going to make me mad tonight? Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN and download the Sports Interaction app, but only if you're 19 plus. Please play responsibly. And I'm glad I had that little bit of runway. This is already itchy. It's, well, you know, if they keep playing like that, it's not going to be itchy for long. I'm glad I had that little bit of runway to remind myself what not yelling sounds like. Because I'm about to do a lot of it. Now listen, it's not going to be yelling the entire time. It's not going to be yelling the entire time. It might be most of the time. It's not going to be yelling the entire time. There's going to be some clarity, some rationale in this video. But there is a time and a place for all of that. And that is not right now after I just watched the Leafs lose by 4 goals on home ice in a game we were anticipating all season. So before the rationale and before the clarity, let's get out the rage. How could they do that to us again? How do they do it to themselves? How do they do it? How do they do it? Kyle Dubas has the most befuddling job, and Brendan Shanahan and Sheldon Keefe, etc. They changed the personnel. They changed everybody. They changed the identity of this team, and they still find a way! There are things I would change. There are things I would absolutely change. But, for example, I was thinking earlier today about the Leafs of yesteryear, the things the Leafs used to do wrong in the past. And remember how much of a thing it was that the Leafs always surrendered a goal on like the first shot or in the first 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something like that? Remember it used to happen all the time, especially in the Freddie Anderson years. Remember that? And then I thought the most amazing thing, they don't do that anymore. Isn't it so nice they don't do that anymore? Well, here it is. The Stanley Cup playoffs and the regular season. We've been talking about how it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. That's where you get home ice advantage from. And the Leafs have home ice advantage in this series, which is so important because the Tampa Bay Lightning have a losing record on the road. So let's go get it, boys. And old Galaxy Brain over there starts the 3rd and then 4th lines who get their show run and are scored on within 90 seconds! What is the point? What's the point of home ice advantage if that's who you're gonna play in the first 90 seconds? And dude, the Leafs bottom 6 is something that I was actually confident in heading into that game. I didn't like necessarily the 3rd line, Kerfoot, Achari, and Yarncroke. I didn't really like that, but Sheldon Keefe had all the confidence in the world of Aston Reese, Kampf, and Lafferty, and why not? They played well down the stretch. And Corey Perry eats them alive! Before the game, the lights are dimming. Corey Perry is the last one out there. The fans at Scotiabank Arena are booing Corey Perry. He is reveling in being the villain, and then he does this on his first shift of what should be the last Stanley Cup playoff series he ever plays in, but instead he becomes this 5-headed monster that murders and suns the Leafs. Justin Holl, it would stand out so much more if every Leafs defenseman didn't look like a dog's breakfast in this game, didn't take a turn looking awful. Samsonov makes the first save, that's his job, but Bellemare, untouched, gets the rebound, 1-0. Befuddling roster decision off the start, soft play, can't get the puck out, can't stop the pass, can't stop the rebound. What is Sammy supposed to do? I feel like so much of the narrative coming out of game one is Samsonov played crappy. He wasn't good. Look at his numbers. Look at this. He even said he played like crap. What? The fact of the matter is it was 7 minutes and 18 seconds into the game when Anthony Cirelli put the Lightning up 2, and it was a near carbon copy of the first one. Cover the guy! Move him! Giordano is not going to be in game 2 if that is indicative of his play. And not satisfied with taking the first penalty of the game, the Leafs take the second penalty of the game as well. It's TJ Brodie after Jake McCabe, 2 penalty killers. Thanks, guys. And you have mere seconds to get to intermission. Dude, if you take away goals that were scored against the Leafs in the last 3 seconds of a period, they might have actually had a chance to get back in this game, which is saying something because they lost by 4. But Nikita Kucherov from the spot, Nikita Kucherov is always in! Game notes! Game notes! Ah! Scores with under 3 seconds to go, and Tampa take a 3-0 lead into intermission, and the Leafs get booed off the ice. Now, people don't always know how to feel about that, and sometimes I don't know how to feel about that, and at the end of the day, you're a fan, you're a fanatic. Aren't you trying to help your team win? It's game 1, it's the first period, it's a long series. Act like you've been there before. They haven't been there since 2004! There is a reason for this. Dude, you cannot expect a building of 20,000 people who all paid a minimum of $500 to be there to sit through a 3-0 period from the road team in a playoff game when it's what they've been anticipating all season. They've lost consecutive games in the first round and consecutive series in the first round, and they haven't made it to the second round since 2004. You cannot ask fans already hoarse. You cannot ask fans to not boo in that situation. You stink! Get off the ice! And also we're gonna let you know about it. Boo! Now an early goal in the second period would start things off nice. That'd be great. Now it's not that early, but it's a little over 7 minutes into the second, and Cernak takes a totally needless penalty against Michael Bunting. I hope Bunting doesn't repay the favor later in the game. Wink. But the Leafs go to the power play. That's a good thing. Mitch Marner downloaded John Tavares in front to Ryan O'Reilly. Scores! That's why you got the former Conn Smythe winner on the board! Hellbent on not having a good thing last, a third penalty killer in Luke Schenn goes to the box, but the Leafs persevere and they kill it off, and the building takes a little sigh of relief. Let's get back on the horn. Ross Colton, that thorn in the side of the Leafs, takes a penalty. Hell yeah! Let's get another one. And they do. William Nylander snipe! Perfect spot, perfect shot on the Tampa net. Vasilevsky takes a peek behind the screen of John Tavares. It was an amazing one. And all of a sudden the Leafs are within 1! The building is shaking! Do you believe? And that's when the game completely jumps the shark. And it has to be said. It simply has to be said. I'm so tired of complaining about officiating. I think it's a crutch as Leafs Nation that we complain about the officiating, but this made no sense. Jake McCabe crushes Mikey Azamon. Crushes him. Now, was it a clean hit? Was it a dirty hit? Some people were comparing it to the Matt Dumba hit on Joe Pavelski from the night before, and that didn't get a call from the league. Regardless, in the moment, I understand a call or a non-call. I understand the Lightning being upset and the Leafs saying, what, that's fine. What I don't understand is the officials simply allowing the play to continue as Nick Paul chases and slashes Jake McCabe the entire way up the ice. Take them both off if you have to. I don't care. Why is the play continuing? And who gets called? Kampf. David Kampf for a stick-on-stick slash on Corey Perry because the play continued. It wasn't even the worst slash on that shift. That gives Tampa a power play, and Braden Point catches TJ Brodie sleeping for a fraction of a second, and this one didn't look good on Sammy. The falling down, didn't like that at all. It's 4-2 Tampa, and the wind is taken out of the building a bit. Now, to me, you know, it's unreasonable to assume you're going to score 3 consecutive goals in a comeback and you're just going to be this unstoppable juggernaut. You know, it can happen, but it's unreasonable. To me, when Tampa made it 4-2, I was like, all right, okay, it's fine. It's going to be a battle. What did I say? What did I say? What did I talk about for so long leading up to this playoff battle between the Leafs and the Lightning? What did I say? The Lightning are going to target Michael Bunting. They are going to use him. And if, like Sheldon Keefe was down the stretch, the Leafs put Bunting on the third line, something like that, basically just put him in the bottom six, they take the Lightning's power away. You see, you can go after him all you want. Go after him all you want. Punch him after the whistles, cross-check him, slew foot him, stinky glove him, do whatever, but he's in the bottom six. He's not going to get as much ice time. He's not going to be out there with Matthews and Marner, who are obviously not going to fight in his stead. And what happens? You saw it build throughout the night. A little bit of this, a little bit of that after the whistle. A little bit more of this, a little bit of that after the whistle. And you see him, he's starting to chirp. And as soon as Bunting starts chirping the refs, it's over. It's over. Take him off the ice, bench him for the rest of the game. It's over. He can't handle it. If he didn't learn it mid-season, he's not going to learn it now. And the game continues, and the Leafs suffer a bit of a loss. There was a big hit, and then Tampa gets a power play, and then they score a goal, and I'm sure the Leafs were salty about it. And Bunting proceeds to bean Erik Cernak right in the head. Right in the head. Puck's nowhere near him, beans him right in the head. First of all, I'm pretty sure that dude was already hurt. Like, he was definitely playing at like 70% maybe. Heading into this game. You're the faster player, you're the feistier player. Get body position, outskate him and get body position on the guy! Instead, you bean a larger player in the head. The penalty is called immediately, they review it, and on the video review, of course they're gonna give him 5 minutes. That's a 5-minute hit in this league. He beamed him in the head. It's an illegal check to the head in an illegal situation. What, I ask you, are you doing? How do the Leafs keep attracting these guys? How does it happen? Kadri again, Clifford, Bunting. The allegedly softest team in the NHL has a guy get suspended every single playoff. I can't wait for 2 years from now when Bunting's on some other team raising the cup with a microphone in his face saying, anyone who called me a playoff liability can kiss my ass. But in the meantime, he's a pending unrestricted free agent, and those dollars, you just spent the last 2 years on Tavares and Matthews and Marner and Nylander's wing, and I'm just watching golden sand pouring through your fingers, and that's just the financial part of it. I was watching the Leafs' chances of winning this game die. Actually die. 5 minutes in the box. The nail in the coffin is the Perry goal, which I won't lie, I don't understand. That puck was mostly in the net. It was definitely, I will concede, it was mostly in the net. That's not how a goal works. It's every molecule of that puck has to be past the red line. You can't see that. You can't. You see white surrounding the puck. Yeah, for sure. There's snow! There's snow! And then Sheldon challenges for goaltender interference. Sammy is, I thought, pretty clearly pushed. They say it's no goaltender interference because I don't know what goaltender interference is. Do you? That gives the Leafs a 2-man disadvantage at the end of the second period. It's over. The game is over. And it just puts salt in the wound. Salt in the wound. 5-2. 5-2. 6-2. Braden Point scores with a second to go. 2 straight periods, the Leafs could not keep the puck out of their net in the final 3 seconds. The Leafs get 2 power plays in the third period. What? The game's dead. It's dead. So the power plays being 8-4 in favor of Tampa, it was actually so much worse because the game was over when it was 8-2. Perbix sends a dart up the middle to Ross Colton, who buries it and tells the fans to get on their feet. Getting punked in your own building again and again and again. And you know what? The fans listened. They did get up to their feet and left. These fans paid hundreds of dollars to leave. That's how bad you were. And just because the Leafs have a twisted sense of humor, Calle Jarnkrok, who should have always been in that top line left spot anyway, scores 7-3. Whoop-de-doo. Now, I was streaming this game on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, and heading into the third period, I said, look, we're either going to see a magical, mystical Disney comeback from the Leafs or a line brawl. Because guess what happened last year? The Leafs ran the Lightning out of the building, they kicked their butts up and down the ice and outscored them greatly and patted them on the bottom, and then Tampa got into the rough stuff at the end of the game. They were hitting, they were face washing, they were fighting! What did the Leafs do? Not a thing! I'm not asking for a bench clearing brawl. I'm not asking for a line brawl. I'm not asking for a spur of the moment fight. I'm not asking for a stage fight. I'm asking you to finish your checks and have some pride, for goodness sake! And they couldn't even muster that on a night where the Lightning were clearly playing hurt, where Victor Hedman didn't play the vast majority of the game. That's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. You had a gift handed to you and you spat it right back out. Cernak out of the game. That was their top pair, Hedman and Cernak, from last season. You got beaten 7-3 in your own building? And oh, is there no one I want to hear from less than the Toronto Maple Leafs after this game? Look at this garbage. From John Tavares, we've got to be a lot better. Learn from it. Enough! Enough! Learn from it. You don't have a PhD yet? You don't have that at this point? 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22? You don't have it yet? And here's John Cooper just playing with his food. He actually said this. The Leafs might win the series. They might. There's so much runway left in this. But what I've learned over the years is I sure as hell wouldn't bet against our guys. Meanwhile, there's Sheldon, being asked, hey, is Sammy going to start next game? He's like, I don't know. Dude, Cooper fed Keefe his lunch in this game. It was bad. Now, there was a fun stat on the broadcast. Over their last 16 playoff series, the Tampa Bay Lightning are 7-9 in game ones. I suppose they're now 8-9. They're still below 500 in game ones. They very often lose the first game of the series. They lost the first two against the Rangers last year. This series isn't over. It's a long slog. It's a long time. If I'm not mistaken, the Lightning played the Bruins a few years ago. I don't remember if it was 18 or 19. And they lost the first game, and then they won the next four. Here, this was a fun one. From Philippe Demas, this was several days ago. My messy prediction for the Leafs' first round, Toronto gets absolutely stomped in game one, causing the most insufferable 48 hours of sports media and hot takes. Sorry about that. And then wins 4 straight to take the series in 5. Wouldn't that just be so lovely? But the most difficult thing about that is it involves putting your faith in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's a hard thing. It's a really difficult thing. There's a very slight chance they're without Jake McCabe next game. I don't think so, though. They're definitely not going to have Michael Bunting. We don't know if the Lightning are going to have Hedman or Cernak or... There were a bunch of guys who looked like they were playing hurt. Azemont, we don't know if he's going to play. Who's it going to be? Next up. That's what it is. Adapt and figure it out. The Lightning do it all the time. The Leafs can still win this series. They can. But the rage and the frustration comes from the poor start. How are you having a poor start on home ice when this series was locked in like a month ago? How are you in a situation where you're complaining about officiating again? It's bad. Friggin' adapt to the fact that it's bad. Well, it shouldn't be. It is! It is! What? What? Dubas has spoken to the officials. Keefe yells and screams his brain out. Whatever they're doing with those dudes in black and white is not working. What? We spent all season talking about how the regular season, yeah, it's great to be good in the regular season, but what really matters is the playoffs. And then they come out and they lay an egg. It's frustrating. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the series. You cannot blame Leaf fans for being mad. It's weird to blame Leaf fans for being mad. It's all we know how to be. It's all we've been given to be. Now I'm going to do something I usually don't do. A little bit of clarity, a little bit of rationale. I'm going to take you on my phone to show you something, okay? There we go. This is the Blue Room, all right? This is my seat at the Blue Room. And there's lots of stuff in the Blue Room, as you can see. Maybe we'll do a full tour one day, but there's one piece of memorabilia that is not in the Blue Room. It's just for me. It's this. It's this signed photo of Johnny Bower holding the Stanley Cup. It's in color. I can't believe that it's in color. But every time I walk by it, and it was especially important for me to see today, it's a reminder that it can be done. Now, usually it's a reminder for everyday situations that I think are difficult or impossible. And I look at it and I just say to myself, it can be done. It can be done. But it took on a much more literal meaning with the Toronto Maple Leafs today. So we know It can be done. How are they going to do it? How are we going to do it? The next chapter starts Thursday. Game 2 is Thursday. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. It can be done. How are they going to do it?